Hey, what's up, FCC Youth? I hope that you have had an awesome week. I want to let you know that whether you are going to school online or in person or not going to school at all, you have been in my prayers this week. I want the best for you, and I know that God has the best for you in mind. You are a beautiful creation of the divine, and you should know that. This morning, we are going to be getting into the fruits of the Spirit once again. And this week, we are on the spirit of patience. I don't know about you, but I know that I struggle with patience a lot. We live in a world that is inundated by things that you get when you want them. Everything is available at the click of a button, whether that's pizza. I could order a pizza right now and order it for delivery and pay an extra $2 to make that delivery a priority so that my pizza comes to me quicker than it may have gotten to me anyways. That's crazy. We have so many ways to get past this idea of being patient. We have so many ways to get what we want when we want it. And so, as Christians, how do we lean into patience today? What does that look like in our lives? We use the phrase, patience is a virtue, but what do we really mean by that? What is so virtuous about patience? Today we're going to look at 3 different verses in the Bible to help us start to understand maybe some different kinds of patience. We all understand this idea of being patient and waiting and not bothering our mom when the cookies are in the oven and we have to wait 10 minutes for them to be done. Right? We all know that kind of patience. But what does the Bible teach us about different kinds of patience? First, I want us to turn to Galatians 6:9. This is going to be the patience of persisting. If you'll read along with me, it's a really short verse. It says this: "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap what we sow if we do not give up." This idea that when we put things out into the world, if we're patient, if we let those things grow and take root, then those things will build and build and grow and grow. And in the end, we will be able to reap that harvest. Just like with gardening, when you plant something, you can't plant it one day and walk out the next day and expect that it's already fully grown, producing fruit. No, you have to wait patiently. But this is not just a patience of waiting, it's a patience of persisting. Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So don't give up on those things that you know are good. When you're putting those good things into the world and you may not be receiving many good things back, you have to be persistent and be patient in your persistence towards good. A lot of times Christians anybody really, not just Christians, anybody can get frustrated when the good things that you're doing are not producing any good fruit, right? So the answer is, don't give up. You can't just stop doing good things because there's no good fruit yet. Just like a garden, you can't just plant a garden and then give up the next day because there's no good fruit yet. You have to keep doing the good. With a garden, you have to keep watering. You have to keep tilling the ground. You have to keep making sure that those plants are healthy. And so in those good deeds that you are doing, whether that is being persistent in opening doors for people, maybe it's being persistent in your giving to the church or to nonprofits in your community. Maybe it's your persistence in being an encouragement to other people. Maybe those things aren't being reciprocated back to you right now. But if you keep doing those, if you keep encouraging people around you, then those people will eventually be able to encourage others, including yourself, and you will be able to reap what you sow. And so first, we have a patience of persistence. Y'all, please do not give up in those good things that you are doing. When you're in school, when you're at work, when you're wherever, at home, persist in doing good and expect that good things will come from it eventually. But we have to keep persisting. And so a patience of persistence. And next, I want us to turn to Romans chapter 12, verse 12. And this is a patience of active waiting. And I want to be clear here. I could just say a patience of waiting, but I want to say active because waiting is not just this passive thing that we do. When we wait, we don't just sit here. We wait actively. And so let's see how we can do that in this verse. It says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, and be constant in prayer. And so the good news is that whenever we need something to celebrate, cool down, and to ask for help, we should turn to prayer. It's our way of communicating with God, and God is always ready to listen to us. And so this relationship that we have with the divine, this idea that when we get frustrated, when we're going through trials and tribulations, and by tribulations, that's just a big word to say all the really annoying stuff that you go through. COVID-19 is a tribulation, y'all. Rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, but that's not all. Be constant in prayer, because when you're being patient in tribulation, that cannot be just a passive patience. It has to be active waiting. And how can we be active in our waiting? We can create relationships with others and with the divine. So in your waiting, in those times when you're just frustrated with the state that you're in, with the situations that you're going through, whether that's fights with parents, fights with friends, going through COVID-19, having to do school online, whatever it is, remember that in waiting for those things to pass, that prayer and that relationship is vital. Because if we don't build that relationship, then the waiting is going to be so much harder. So first, we have the patience of persistence. We persist in good patiently. Second, we have patience of active waiting. We wait for things to blow over, but we don't do it passively. We wait in prayer and in relationship with others. And lastly, we have the patience of diffusing. And so this one's a little interesting. I want you to turn to Proverbs chapter 15, verse 18, and it says this: a hot-tempered person stirs up strife, but one who is slow to anger quiets contention. So there's a whole lot of big words in there. A hot-tempered person, an angry person, stirs up strife, stirs up a bunch of trouble, right? An angry person is not the person that's going to calm things down. It's a person that's going to make things worse. But the person who is slow to anger quiets contention, quiets that trouble. So the good news here is that an angry person who is quick to start a fight, but being patient, is able to take a deep breath. You're more likely to diffuse a situation when you can step into that situation without being in that place of anger. And so for us Christians, we need to come into situations from a place of patience. I think this is a big problem that we have in our world today, right? We're all really quick to answer. We're all really quick to put our thoughts out there and to put our opinions out there without first listening. And so I think a first step to this patience of diffusing is to be a good listener. And how do we listen well? We listen not to respond, but we listen for the sake of listening. Really try to hear people. And when those opinions and things that get on our nerves pop up and we begin to get angry, I encourage you to sit patiently in that anger, to think about what is making you angry, to let it pass by, and then to step into that situation, not from a place of anger, but from a place of peace and patience, knowing that God holds everything in God's own hands, and that we are called to first persist in good, second to wait in prayer, and third to step into situations not from a place of anger, but from a place of patience, a place of waiting, and a place of listening. We cannot build right relationships with each other and with God without first listening to each other and listening to God. My encouragement to you this week is to practice patience. Maybe you're going to be in school this week and you need to practice patience with some teachers who are just getting on your last nerve. Maybe you've got a bunch of assignments to do and that is making you anxious and angry, and you just need to step back and be patient, to sit patiently waiting in prayer. Maybe you need to connect with God this week in that kind of way. Maybe you need the kind of patience that requires you to connect with the people around you, to draw off of their good energy. Maybe the kind of patience that you need to practice this week is a patience of persistence. What have you been doing in your life that is causing good, that is reaping, that is growing the fruit around you, planting those seeds and watering them and nurturing them? What are those things in your life? And how can you keep doing them even when the return is not there yet? Maybe this week you need to step out of those angry places and into situations with a clear mind. Maybe we need to work on our listening this week. This is something that I need to work on a lot. And one thing that really helps me is to be able to sit back and really ask myself, am I listening to respond, or am I listening for the sake of listening? To hear the other, to hear people's perspective, and to take them seriously in their thoughts and in their words. Then we can step into situations with a clearer head. That's my encouragement to y'all this week. I know things are crazy and weird, and I hope and I pray and I sit waiting actively, patiently, hoping for new things to come, for some semblance of normal to come back. But until then, we will sit together in relationship with each other, hoping and praying and doing what we can to make this world a better place. I love y'all. I hope y'all have another great week ahead. This next week, so not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we are going to start back in-person meetings with masks outside at Funky Monkey Snow Cones. If it's your first time coming to Funky Monkey with me, then Sunday youth group has got your snow cone. Don't worry about paying for your snow cone. After that, it's on you. Bring like $3 or $5. The snow cones are pretty cheap, and we'll have a good time to sit around and eat snow cones and talk about life. All right, that's all. I hope that y'all have a great week. Blessings and peace.